The last few videos, I've been covering what high-profile mixers have on their mix bus. A few in particular, I covered Chad Blake, Andrew Sheps, and Tizio. Now, in contrast, there's some people that use very little. See, the last three people I mentioned, I would say Chad Blake uses what I would call a lot on their mix bus in terms of how many plugins. They're not particularly hitting them hard, but there's a lot of them. Andrew Sheps is using a moderate amount. Tizio, I would say, is using a lot. Now, what I'm about to show you is the opposite end of the spectrum of using a lot. We're talking one plugin on the mix bus by high-profile mixers working on high-profile songs. The two people we're going to talk about, Leslie Brathwaite, mixed for Cardi B, Pharrell, tons of others, and Anthony Killhoffer, who mixed a song on Watch the Throne. A lot. He might probably mixed more than that, but that album has a lot of credits for who mixed on the album. So I don't know how many songs he mixed on it, but I know he mixed this one that happened to be one of their most popular songs. The cool thing about that song, all done in the box and mixed in a hotel room that had like no treatment on it at all. They brought more furniture in to get the sound a little deader to prevent some, impossibilities, but the place was basically untreated, and he used KRK speakers, so not the best tools to work with, but yet still created pretty amazing results. It just kind of shows you what you can accomplish with tools that might not be the greatest. All right, so let's continue down this path. I want to show you these two plugins that were used because they're both simple. I mean, like this is the one that was on Watch the Throne. This one plugin was the only plugin on the mix bus, the PSP Vintage Warmer. It's just an old school flavor, like in terms of the way the GUI looks, and it's just doing really compression. It's not doing a whole lot. Very basic mix bus compression. And this isn't typical of just hip hop or, guys like TLA sometimes would just use the built-in compressor in their console, the SSL, bus comp, which is the quad one that's in the console. That's all he would use sometimes. So the point is, there's no right or wrong or always with this stuff. I just found it interesting. This is all he used on that mix bus for an album that basically the artist approved the mix without preferring the mastered versions either. When they sent their mixes to mastering, they didn't like what came back. And they went with the mixes that literally this was all that was on the mix bus that then made it to radio and all over the world. And I found that very interesting. Okay, so that's the only plugin on Watch the Throne. And then this was the one on Leslie Brathwaite. This is often his only mix bus plugin. And he used this on a Cardi B song he just did. And I don't own this, so I'm just basically showing you guys the plugin, but this is not one that I own. I have a few T-Rax plugins, but this isn't one of them. I really like T-Rax as far as plugins go. So what we have right here is kind of similar to the Brainworks Master Desk, where you have your width control, you have your compression control right here, you have the ability to give it a little shine on the top, rebuild add some more transient information, give it a little bass punch, kind of just an interesting, bunch of controls, none of which are life-changing, brand new, never seen before, but people have their flavors that they like, and what I remember him saying was he actually got this from David Guetta, I believe, like the idea to start to use this plugin, and then he prefers it, so he'll use it often. So I just find that really cool, man. You really don't need a whole lot going on your mix bus if you mix that way. It depends on how you mix. And the spectrum is all over the place. Andrew Sheps is using a moderate amount of stuff on his mix bus, not a ton, because he's doing way more, with parallel and this and that, even though he's using less of that these days. He's still using parallel. Then when he gets to his mix bus, there's no compressor in sight except for the limiter at the very end, So the newfangled audio limiter, the Elevate thing, which does a lot of stuff, which I mentioned in the last video on the Andrew Sheps mix bus. If you haven't caught that, check that out. But the point is, find the plugin you like most. And if you haven't tried any of these, maybe you want to try these. But, if you have Master Desk, you could accomplish very similar things to this. But you could literally do this with anything. So I also don't want anybody to think they need to go out and buy this stuff. Experiment with your own stuff. The only reason those guys found the ones they liked was they tried a few things till they found the stuff they want. And if for whatever reason your mixes just aren't working, try different stuff. If you got 5 or 10 plugins on your mix bus, take them all off and only leave one. Maybe you work better that way. How would you know unless you try it? We're always trying to improve our workflow. We're always trying to improve what we're hearing. I'll give you a good example. Where my desk is situated in this room, I'm planning on moving it around a little bit, getting a little closer to the front wall, maybe getting a little closer to the back wall, moving these speaker stands, because I didn't build this room that long ago that I'm so convinced I have the perfect spot. I really don't. It's sort of all new, and I'm constantly looking to improve my listening. So as a result, I plan on doing a lot of moving stuff around, as soon as I get done with this video. So I'm going to get to that. Do me a favor, throw something in the comments about this or about improving your listening position, or just maybe ways where you used to work a different way and now you prefer this. Or if you've got one plugin that you love for a minimalist way to rock a mix bus and make it sound great to you, let me know what that is, because I'm always curious about that one thing that people use, because if you could get it all done with one plugin, that's pretty cool, honestly. I like that. So hope you guys dig it. I'm someone who uses a lot on my mix bus at the moment. I've got several plugins because it's more on the Chad Blake kind of style, but we'll see. I got saturators on saturators, all doing very little, but lots of them. So anyway, that's the way I prefer at the moment, but this stuff's changing all the time. So you guys got this. All right, piece of cake. Throw something in the comments. Hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. Talk to you guys soon. You guys got this. Take it easy.